At a time when America continues the suspect talks with Iran over nuclear buildup, those in Asia are beginning to wonder at times if the United States not only knows what it's doing, but if it can be trusted to deliver on its commitments. The concept of the world police is nothing new, but it is coming back to haunt America. Let's welcome back veteran foreign correspondent, noted author, our man in a suitcase, who today comes to us from Seoul, South Korea, Todd Wood. Todd, good to talk to you again.
Yeah, good to be back. Thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure now from Seoul, South Korea, and of course now you have an idea to bring us what actually is the thinking process there. But before we get around to a lot of from what's happening in Asia and a lot of this World Cup issue, I'm curious, from your perch there in South Korea, this whole instance about Iran, the United States, Benjamin Netanyahu, the wonder about the nuclear weapons and it might change things in the Middle East, how is that perceived in that part of the world?
Well, there's a real uncertainty here. It is, for decades the U.S. has been the cork in the bottle, if you will, that has held Asia together. And there is a real sense that that cork is being released and that the U.S. is withdrawing around the world and allowing a lot of old hatreds, allowing new powers to rise. Especially here in Asia, there's a really intense concern with North Korea and China. I spent the day on the DMZ 2 days ago with the United Nations Command, and I was really struck by how the tensions are much higher even than they were 30 years ago when I was here as a pilot in the Air Force. The new instructions on how things are to operate at the DMZ, it's just a heightened tension that you can feel. And that's due to the lack of American involvement.
Do they see the United States, though, there as a country that no longer wants to get involved, needs to get involved, doesn't have the will, or doesn't want to back its former allies? How do they exactly see it?
I think the issue is, you hit it right on the head when you said the will. Do we have the will to live up to our defense commitments? I mean, and we have a lot of them here, and whether it's South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, there's a lot of people that count on America. The alliance between South Korea and the United States is very special. It is very strong. However, if you talk to some of the people on the street or to some of the other nationalities, there's a real sense that America is just missing, and that is leading to a lot of fear about war and what is going to happen if China continues to push for territory, continues to push for airspace, economic rights, etc. And will the U.S. stand up to China if they say, look, we're going to take some territory that you may not like?
What about the rise of nationalism in Japan? Is that also a concern?
That really is, and more here in Korea. There's a real legacy issue in Korea with Japan. It hasn't been resolved. Even though a lot of the people who fought in World War II, are dying, the comfort issue is a big problem here. That needs to be resolved. I think there probably needs to be some American, interaction to try and get the two sides to come together. But no, I was surprised at how high the tension is here between Korea and Japan.
I got about a minute and a half left here, Todd. So with the fact that people are looking at America now as not willing to put forth on a lot of its commitments, we talk about old animosities, territorial claims.
Right.
What do you see then as the real flashpoints, the ones that if America does not back its allies and stay involved, can become the real problem issues?
Well, North Korea by far is the quickest and most
always leads off the hit parade, it seems.
Yeah, it really is, and there's a lot of talk here about a peace park in the DMZ and putting a UN fifth headquarters at the DMZ to try to maintain peace. And I think the view here with the American forces on the ground is it's not a peace park in the DMZ that's going to maintain peace. It's the live fire exercises we're doing continually to tell the North that we're serious. I actually learned that it used to be when North Korea provocated the South Korean troops, they had to get approval from Seoul or the UN command to respond and return fire. That is no longer the case. Commanders on the ground can immediately return fire if they're attacked. And you talk about a tripwire. I mean, these people, if you look at the hatred between just the guards at the DMZ, it's fascinating.
I only got about 20 seconds left. Do they really see North Korea as either a real calculating government or just a whack job waiting to hit the button?
I think they don't know. I think, the whack job, analysis probably holds more sway at this point. They just don't really know what Kim Jong-un is going to do. But they have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of artillery tubes that could incinerate Seoul in a few short minutes. And, it's a flashpoint for sure, Ed.
And do not make fun of his hairstyle. That would always be the bad thing to do, at least at this point.
Right.
Todd, please, always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend, but stay safe wherever we catch up with you next. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks for having me, Ed. Take
All right,
care.
thanks, Todd. A pleasure. Coming up next, guess who wants to come back to the United States? Edward Snowden. And another ping-pong ball on gay marriage in the Deep South. Water coolers next.